popular topic, especially under the circumstances that's happening right now with the COVID. So, well, without further ado, let's start this little chat now. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to share my screen. Can you guys see it?
Yep.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, sir.
All right, great. So for the first, we try to wrap everything up. What time is it now? Now it's 8:07. We try to wrap everything up by 8:50, and then we can leave like a 10 minutes of time to maybe do like a quick Q&A if we can get through the material uh, enough. There's so much so much that we packed into this presentation. Very ambitious, but anyways, let's get started and see if we can get through all of them. Now, a little bit about me. My name is Frank. My the reason I'm a real estate agent now. The reason why I got into real estate because my dad has been in the housing industry, especially in the specifically in the renovation uh, field for the past 20 years. It only makes sense to have that conversation one day. Say, hey, Dad, if I become a real estate agent, I can refer you business, and maybe you can refer me business from your clientele too. So why don't we do like a partnership together? And long story short, bam, and that's where I am. My background is in academically. I'm from UFT, economics major, and it just I love real estate because it's what I learned from my university major. I get to use it every day to analyze the market for my clients and stuff. It's just a second nature to me. I love what I'm doing now, and it's pretty fun. It's been a roller coaster. Now, a little disclaimer: I don't want to read through everything. Long story short, it's just like whatever that you hear today is just a representation of me. It 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 doesn't represent my company. I'm with a River Realty Group. It doesn't represent my company. It's just opinion of my own. All right. Today's topic five: credit score is the first step. Number one, funding. Third, is the process of real estate buying. Fourth, a little bit about the market, and fifth is the software. A little bonus that I want to put in for everyone. Now, how's everyone's credit score? Do you know your credit score? How many of you guys here know your credit score? We can interact through the chat room. I think Gabe is going to monitor the chat room. Do you know the first question is, do you know your credit score now? If not, why not? And do you know where to get it? You can get a check on there are two major credit bureau in Canada right now. One is Equifax, and the other one is TransUnion. And you can get I think once a year, you can get a free reports from them, Equifax or TransUnion, and if you want to get it for free, if you want to assess and monitor your credit score for free, there is also apps out there that can do that for you. The one that I use is called Credit Karma, and then the other one that is called Borrow Well. All right. Now the structure. I want to point your attention to the structure of your credit score. 35% of your credit score is actually based on your credit, your payment history. Did you ever miss a single payment? And it is very important too. Can you see here? Payment history. If you're 100% never miss a payment, boom, you're in the excellent rate. And your payment history. If you ever miss a payment, your that record might stay on your in your record for 7 years, 6, 7 years. So you better be a little more careful than that. So out of the, for say in 1 year, maybe like there are 12 payments. If you miss one, that's a very big chunk, way below the 97%. So what you want to do is, what we want to do is never to miss a payment. And if we ever like miss a mail and miss a payment or two, call them up and try to explain to them and fix it as soon as possible. Because what happens is, if there's one late payment that shows up, it affects your 35% of your credit score. Very, very high ratio. Number two is the one here that says 30% is your used credit versus your available credit. So if you have a credit card that has $10,000 credit limit, if you're maximizing it, 75%. If you use 75% or more, they consider you as someone that has a poor credit habit. Um, 50%, anything below 50% will be in the fair area. If you can stay below the usage, below 30%, your credit card, your credit score will start to climb little by little. And if you can keep your credit score, I mean your credit usage under 10%, then the increase in the credit score will be a little substantially more because you'll be in this category. What you want to do, what we all want to do, is to stay in this excellent column and do this practice. Credit history. What's your credit history? You may have have this bad habit of canceling your credit card. This is what a credit history is. If you have a credit card at age 18 and now you are 28 years old, guess what that means? That means you have 10 years. You have 10 years of credit history, and that contributes to 15% of your credit score. The longer that you have the history of credit, have a history of credit, the better you are in position. You are positioning yourself. So, golden rule: never cancel an old credit card. Never cancel an old credit card. If the, especially if the credit card, a lot of the credit card is not a lot of the credit card is not doesn't have what do you call that stuff, annual fees on it, especially those credit card. Oh, if you have held it since 18, those are helping you to build up your credit. Other stuff such as public record. Have you ever had any bankruptcy in the past? No. And the last one is inquiry. So if you um, go to apply for a new credit card, that's inquiry, and is that any each application is going to take scores, credit points out of your scoreboard. You feel me? So don't go out there. I don't know, man. If you apply for a lot of credit cards, we talk about it a bit. Now, how to increase your credit score, and that's the fun part. Um, what's the one area that has the most impact is your payment history. It has 35% of it's the most important thing that is harming your credit score now. Now, if you have any late payment, anything beyond 30 days late, they're gonna stay in your record for 7 years. So don't do that. The longer it goes, the worse it goes. So 90 days plus is gonna extend to a collection, I believe. Oh, nationally, no. After 180 days, 6 months past due, you're gonna go into a collection, which is another round, another category to take a chunk out of your credit score, and that is going to stay 7 years. So if you can, well, here's the thing: when and I don't know if I should tell you guys this, but sometimes if, in collection, let's just say that sometimes they in the collection agency, you might have like a $10,000 debt, but a collection agency might have bought your debt for a fraction of what it is. So if your debt at 10,000, the collection agency might have bought your debt for $1,000. So when you're negotiating with collection, understand that it's a business. They bought your debt for a fraction of the cost, and whatever that if they bought it for $1,000, you can negotiate. Maybe negotiate. And don't be surprised. Sometimes you can actually negotiate a $10,000 debt and try to pay it off at $3,000. And the cost to the debt collector is $1,000, and the $2,000 is their profit. And that's type of that's kind of how the game goes. And so it's not the end of the day. Everything is negotiation. Everything is in terms. Just like real estate, everything is about terms and negotiation and condition. Okay. Now find out where and what is hurting you, and call into the credit bureau to do a formal dispute for inaccurate of information, or someone use your credit, someone use your fraudulent identities, your identity got stolen, stuff like that, and do a credit repair. Don't be afraid to pick up the call and call the Canadian Credit Bureau and try to talk to them. Sometimes I did it. I did it once. There was a ridiculous payment that popped up in one of my credit card, and I was so mad about it. And I was like, no way that I'm gonna let this harm my score. It took out 20 points off my credit score, and I called into the credit bureau, and they asked me to mail it in a formal dispute. I did that within 7 days. My score jumped back. I think my score actually increased some more too. I lost 20, but then my credit score was repaired and added almost 60 points on top back on. So, anyways, payment history. The tip is pay it off as soon as possible, and always remember negotiate everything. You can negotiate your payment. Um, if you're owing to if you can, the best thing is to pay everything off all at once. If you can't pay everything off, at least pay the minimum. And while you're paying the minimum, sometimes it doesn't hurt to if there's a little difficulty on your end, sometimes it doesn't hurt to call them up and maybe like work out a payment plans with them. So this is some of the thing that we can do to help to increase our credit score. Now, here's the thing: the key is be polite and speak nicely to them. Everything is negotiable when it comes down. Everything in life is negotiable. Um, be a little bit nice. Be a nice person. Now, the other one is use credit. How many of you guys here max out your? Maybe not now, but maybe in the past had maxed out your credit card. I did. I tried that. I even went over to there was a there was a there was an over limit fees that I had to pay too. I gotta be honest, but the obvious tips is don't max it out. Don't max out your credit. Try to start paying it down and try to start to control your I don't know, discipline your actions. Now, there is another way though, but this is a very gray area that I'm teaching you guys how to repair your credit. Very, very gray area. So don't take what I'm telling you now tonight out of the context, but here we go. As you can see here, the the utilization of one credit card at a $1,000 limit is how much? Is 100%. You are using if you have a credit card $1,000 limit and you use 1,000 of it, all of a sudden now your utilization is 100%. That's maxed out. Is not very good. However, though, there are ways that you can control the situation. What if you have down here more than one credit card or more than $1,000 limits? Maybe you have like two, three credit cards, but then what you can do is whatever limits that you have right now. I think $1,000 limit. If you are not 18 years old, that's very young and in your early 20s, they might give you $1,000 limits. But if you are like you have a little bit of work history and your credit limit is still $1,000, feel free to go to your bank or pick up a call to ask if they can offer you a credit increase because down here, if you have with a combination of increase credit limits on your existing credit card or get a new credit card, if you can stretch your credit limits to $10,000, and it is the same $1,000 that you use, all of a sudden now you're only at 10% credit use. You are in the excellent pile, and boom, before you know it, because of this action, you still use the same $1,000, but now because you have done this to increase your credit limit, now you have more available limits. All of a sudden, boom, you are only at 10%, and because you are at 10%, 30% of your credit score is based on that, and your 10% usage, they consider you as someone who is very fair and very reasonable and can totally pay off your credit card. Because the credit bureau, mark this, the credit bureau doesn't care how much money and what's the money amount that you borrow on your credit card or your credit line. What it cares the most is how much that you borrow with respect to how much is the limit that you are given. So if your credit usage is 10%, boom, your credit score is going to climb up uh, gradually and in a pretty fast pace. But if you only have one credit card and your credit limit is $1,000 and you max out at $1,000, that's not very good. Now, also, how many of you guys here in the past have received like this junk mail from the bank saying that, hey, guess what it is? open a new credit card. How many of you guys here has tossed that away before? I did. I'm guilty of it. 4 or 5 years ago, I whenever I see a TD credit card, oh, a new credit card application. No, what are you talking about? I'm still trying to pay off my existing one. Why do you bother me with the new one? I don't have money to do that. Biggest mistake that I make with respect to credit billing. If the bank offer you something, guess what? Go back to this example here. Take it. Take it. If it gives you, if you only have, if now you have a credit card that has $5,000 limit, and then your bank or whatever, or wherever other credit card company offers you another 5,000, all of a sudden you have the five now plus another five, boom, $10,000 usage. And if your usage is 10%, but what you have available is $10,000, you're only utilizing 10% of your credit limit, and owning two credit card changes the whole situation. So, anyways, yeah, okay. The gray area is if you want to fix your credit score fast and increase this credit limit fast, apply for sometimes you can apply for a credit card because when you apply for a credit card, it would take 2 to 3 points out of your credit score per credit card application. As long as if it is a reasonable time frame. You apply a credit card once every 3 months because you found a deal on internet and then you apply for a credit card once every 3 months. That's fine, and you can slowly build up your maximum limits that way. But if you are after you hear what I told you today, and you go back and you try to apply for 10 credit card within 1 week, oh no, all of a sudden, just imagine if you are the person on the other side of the of the table. If they see that, whoa, this guy Frank, within 1 week, he applied 10 credit card. What's going on? He must be in need of money. Is he taking the money and freaking like, flying to North Pole or whatever to it looks bad. So whatever it doesn't, just use logic. Whatever that doesn't look good, don't do it. Look too sketchy. The key here is be responsible. Okay, don't go out there and try to apply 100 credit card. That is not how it works. Now, where we stand, this is the average score of all Canadian in different city, major city. Vancouver is number one for a 687. Victoria, which is also Vancouver, 679, and Toronto we have 679. So we're on the second place with Victoria. So just look at your credit score and compare to the rest of the Canadian and see how good you stand. This is the average on average, and this is the rest of Canada. Matter of fact, 57% of a lot of people here has credit scores 760 and above. So a lot of boomer, they have very good credit history. Plus, they have like decades of credit history. Plus, they have very good paying habits, ethic, very very good. It is the troublesome ones are somewhere here in the middle. So long story short, majority of people have good credit score, and if your credit score is a little bit below average, now maybe it's the time to fix it because the credit score is everything. It's very important. The next step that you should do, you should get to know where you stand. Use Credit Karma, Equifax, TransUnion, and number two is to face them. Don't worry. Don't be afraid to call them. Try to do something different. Call them and try to have the problem resolved. And if the problem is pretty detrimental, try to do a credit report. It never hurts to negotiate. Just be nice to them, talk to them. They have 95, they have a job to talk to so many people on a day on the phone, and just be nice to them and be a good person. And things might change. A thing or two might change for you. Sometimes people are emotional being. Design and plan ahead. Really, the big purchase. If you have any big purchase in the next 3 months, for say if you're buying a house or or you need to get a business loan, or you need to buy a car, whatever, you better not from now to 3 months from now. If the next 3 months, you better not make crazy moves on your credit score, like apply 10 credit cards or whatever, or ask for unreasonable stuff. Now, what I said earlier regarding the credit history, the credit, right? Here's the thing. If the bank offers to you, it doesn't count as a hard inquiry. It will not deduct point out of your credit score if the bank offer you, if an organization offer you a credit limit increase. However, though, if you go out there and apply for it, and I don't know, man, and they said, oh, we need to submit a application, and you may need to wait a week to maybe up to a month. That type of rule will take your credit score. Will take a little chunk out of your credit score. How much? Sometimes 2 point, 3 points, not much, but don't apply 5 credit cards within 1 week. That is just sketchy to the max. And what I want you to do, and my message here is, I want everybody to get this. Be proactive and even aggressive to increase your credit score, because your credit score is your identification in the world, in the matured world. Fair? Now, the second part here is money, funds, and mortgages. Now we're talking about money, and let's see this guy, my favorite comedian, Dave Chappelle. Was like, hold it, hold it, hold it. Look what Dave's saying. Yo, did you guys really get it? No credit, no money. You have to. Credit is the most important thing. So before you even walk into the bank and try to borrow $500,000 on your mortgage to buy a house, no, you can't even. You don't even have enough bargaining chip to do that if you don't first fix your credit score. So is that fair? Does it sound fair to everybody? Number one, to get your credit reports qualified to see if you're qualified to get a loan and get a better interest rate. Number two is if you walk into a bank, what you want to do is you want to get something called a pre-approval, a mortgage pre-approval. And what you need is you need your credit report, and you also need your proof of income. Um, Normally, during the back time, a few years back in 2017, the leverage ratio is only 3 times your annual income. So if you make 50K, let's be an average stat. 50K, if you make a 50K a year income, and then you walk into the bank, guess what the bank can loan you in 2017? It will be 3 times your income. That means the bank will loan you maximum $150,000. $150,000. Yeah, that's right. But now today, it's got a little bit better. The market has become a little bit better. Now, if you walk into a bank, they're a lot more lenient, and they can give you 7 times your annual income, whatever income, the total income that you report, personal income plus your business income altogether. So if you make an income of $50,000 today, you walk into the bank, they might approve you for 7 times your annual income, meaning that they might approve you for a mortgage that is 7 times 50,000. That's 350,000. So now you have 350,000 now versus 2017, only 100,000, 150,000. It's a total of $200,000 worth of difference, and that's the economy. That's the housing market. Down payment, you need to have some down payment save up. 20% of the funding, and then that is being used to purchase the house. 20% of it is the down payment that you have to save up. 80% of it is the mortgage that the bank is loaning you. And all this, you can choose different option in a mortgage. There is fixed rate and there is variable. I'm not going to get too deep into that. Fixed rate meaning that you pay the same amount every month. Variable, your monthly amount may be ups and down, but you might save $1,000 to a few $1,000 here and there if you're lucky, if the economy is healthy. Anyways, mortgage pre-approval is what we're trying to get. When you walk into the bank before you want to buy a house, before you go out there and look for a real estate agent to help you to buy a house, mortgage pre-approval is your bargaining chip, is your as security. So we bring your mortgage pre-approval. The bank is going to assess your situation based on your proof of income and based on your credit score, and boom, they will give you a pre-approval and statement. Now, this statement is going to say that the bank now, whatever bank that you're banking with, is now promising you a certain amount, maybe like $500,000 for a real estate purchase. So you bring that mortgage pre-approval, and now the next step is you can bring it to a real estate agent and try to look for the houses. So where can you get this loan and this mortgages? Now we have three different options. Option A is always the best rate. Is your local bank. It's your traditional bank. We call it a lender. Option two is B lenders. They're usually their rates is 2 to 3% more than whatever rates that you get from option A from A lender. And then you have private lender. Private lender, the interest rate could be as crazy as 10% to 18% plus a 2 to 3% fees, and it's highly unregulated. You better have a very good, very trusted lawyers to go go in with you to draft about this type of contract. And Schedule A bank. We all know the five major banks, the BMO, TD, and Royal Bank, whatever, right? But there are other banks that offer the same rates. And if you like to take a picture of this, you might know a few of this. Take a screenshot if you like. National Bank of Canada, President Choice, surprisingly, Manulife, Tangerine. These are all A-lander banks that you can get a good rates from too. Now the numbers. Let's look at the numbers. If you are buying a condo and condo price is $500,000, half a million, right? So your down payment, you need to have $100,000 worth of down payment to put down, and $400,000 of it, the rest of it is your mortgage. Mortgage to the bank is willing to loan you. So the income you need to make, seven times the ratio, you need to make $57,200 a year plus in order for you to be totally secure and qualify to buy a condo who's which is worth that is worth half a million dollars, 500,000. Now, if you're buying a detached home, your home price is 950,000. Your down payment now all of a sudden is $190,000 that you gotta save up, and your mortgage is $760,000 right here, right? And the income that you need with that seven times income average ratio is you need to make an annual income of $108,600 plus a year in order to be able to afford um, a big detached homes like this. That's value at $950,000. Now, if you yourself doesn't have that type of income, and maybe some people don't, uh, oh my gosh, man, this is so funny for me to say. Uh, get married. As a married couple, the bank actually look at the husband and the wife's combined income to qualify for a big house. So that's why you see a lot of single guy. They be like living in a condo until they get serious in their relationship somewhere down the road, and all of a sudden they be like, oh my gosh, we need a house. We need a house. We need more income to qualify to a house. Oh, no worry, I have my wife here, and all of a sudden problem solved. Even that, if one person doesn't make this, if you guys are getting to getting married, yeah, combined income, yeah, it will stretch it out for you. Okay, numbers. That's all the math that we should do today. It's too much. Now, tips on getting a mortgage. Once again, good credit score. Number one, you need to have great credit score. Number two is shop around. Aside from your local bank, go to other bank. If you're banking with TD, try CIBC, try Nova Scotia, Bank of Nova Scotia, RBC, BMO. Try the other bank, man. Don't just stick with one. You can. Oh, another thing though. Here's the thing: when you acquire a loan, right, and you give your info to, for say, like 5, 6, 7 bank, and 5, 6, 7 banks, when they do their um, uh, application on you and telling you that what's their rate is, how much money they can loan you. Every time that they did that application, either they look into your credit score, it's considered a hard inquiry. However, though, if you go to 7 banks, that doesn't mean that if you go to 7 banks, here's the thing. Make sure you visit these 7 banks within a short period of time, such as 2 weeks. Now, if on your credit score it shows 7 hard inquiry, but they are all the same type of inquiry, getting a mortgage, all that 7 inquiry is going to consider and count it as one inquiry because it's all type of thing. The credit bureau can see that, oh wow, this guy is just trying to get a good rate. Okay, he doesn't need 7 loans. He's just trying to get a good rate. So let's count that 7 separate application as one single event, and boom, they will take a few points off your credit score, no biggie. But make sure when you go out there and shop for your loan, be smart with the timing. Okay, now review the term and condition. Go in there. Terms, condition, all negotiable uh, on your mortgage. You might not get the best rates, but if the terms and conditions are good, you might might be okay to pay an extra $5, $10 difference. You know, more for a really really good term. Now try to go to the bank and see how much money they can qualify. At least if you don't have the money saved up, at least you know where you are. At least you have a clear view of the path. Now next, it's 8:37 now. Well, let's try. Next, we're going to go into the process of buying real estate. A checklist is let's go through this checklist together. Maybe if you want to take a screenshot. Down payment. Do you have down payment saved up? Do you have a mortgage pre-approval saved up? And determine the nature of your purchase. Do you want to use it as an investment property, or do you want to use it as a residential property that you live in there yourself? Property type: detached, townhome, condos, apartments, whatever, even land too, and the location. Location. Sometimes a lot of people buy homes because they start to have kids. They want it to be want the new homes to be close to school, and some people want to buy a house or buy a condo that is downtown core, have fair access to everything. So location is one of the must have and nice to have and a must not have. And I have a little exercise here that I want to go through with you guys. Maybe you can go through here and try to imagine, picture what your dream homes look like. So this is, as you can see, whatever is most important to you, draw a big bubble around it. Now, in this case, you see this big bubble? What do I want? What do I really want in a house? Ooh, I want a big kitchen. I want a big living room. I want a big dining room too. So you can take out a piece of paper and draw a big circle, or three big circles to represent uh, how your home is. And now you can use this bubbling technique to trying to like visualize. Oh, do I want open concept, or do I want an individual home? As you can see here, different bubble represent separate areas. So whatever one single area, just draw a bubble. The front door, outdoor front, the bedroom here, outdoor front. Now, how it looks now on this bubble. You see this bubble here? The dining room, living room, and the kitchen is all in one piece, all together in one bubble. That means that this person wants the kitchen and the dining area and the living area to be all one space. Look at this picture here. Boom. That's and then and this is basically what the bubble represent in real life. And what you want to do now before we go out there and look for a property, you might want to have that in your head first, so you don't. It's not nice to say that, but you don't waste the real estate agent's time. Know what you want. Can you imagine you hopping into a taxi and a taxi driver asks you, where do you want to go? And then you, because you don't know what you want and you don't know where you want to go, you say, hey, just drive me anywhere, just drive me anywhere you want. The taxi driver's gonna look at you crazy, right? So know what you want. Use this exercise, drawing bubble tonight. Take out A4 paper, blank A4 paper, and try to like draw some bubble to see, figure out what's really important to you. Now the money structure. Now the money structure here. We're 8:40. We're 10 minutes left. The money structure here. I want to talk about how to. What can we afford? Buy a condo here. Look, the buyer has to come down with 20% down payment, right? $100,000, and the bank is going to lend you 80% of it is $400,000. Now, that's not all the cost. There is closing cost involved too. So down payment less deposit. When you saw a home and you want to buy a home, a lot of time in this offer it comes with a deposit. So maybe a lot of time we put down $20,000 deposit. So in this case, if your down payment is $100,000, but with the offer that you put in, you already put down $20,000. It's going to be your down payment 100,000 minus less your deposit. So on the day of the closing, where you actually get the keys and move in, you need to pay the difference, $80,000 as the down payment. And then also, in this case, you have $10,000 to $15,000 worth of land transfer tax. So just prepare for that. Legal fees anywhere from $500 to $1,000, and then there's title insurance and all those little costs here and there. So maybe stack an extra to $20,000 on top of this $500,000 price that we're seeing here. So it's just showing you there's a little more cost, not that much, but a little bit more cost on top of the face value of the property that you're purchasing. Now, if you don't have that money saved up, what can you do, Frank? Frank, I don't have $100,000 saved up, man. Like, I mean, I can save up. How much can you save up? Can you save up a small chunk? If that's the case, there's another thing that you can do. It's called buying a pre-construction new build. And for say, the money structure is normally like this. The moment that you say that, hey, I want to buy this thing, this new construction is a project that hasn't been built yet. It's not physically there, but the developer is going to build it in about 2 years time, 3 years time, 5 years time, whatever the case may be. And on the time of you signing that agreement, saying that I'm going to buy a unit here in this condo, they normally take $10,000 on the signing. So if you don't have $100,000 saved up, you can, if you have $10,000 saved up, boom, you can afford to participate in investing in real estate, but in the pre-construction um, type of homes. Fair. Now, normally 5% balance of the whole entire project, for say it's $500,000. 5% balance is due in 10 days, and then another 5% due in 90 days, and then 5% due in 270 days, and then another 5% due in another 270 days, which is 540 days. And the remaining, the rest of it is being closed on the closing day, which 80% of it, remember, 80% of it is going to be funded by your bank's mortgage. So, closing costs is similar. So if you don't have that big chunk of money, 100K, 20% down payment saved up, you can participate in investing in real estate in the pre-construction area. There's more popular options for a lot of young people to do. Now, people involved in real estate is not just the real estate agent. You can take a screenshot of this. This is all the people that's involved. 8:44. We have 6 more minutes. I'm going to go through this. And the step of buying a home is number one, interview a real estate agent. You know what? Can I stretch it to 8:55 and then maybe we do a Q&A afterward? You know what? That's I'll try to end it in 8:55 because we started 10 minutes behind, right? Anyways, the second step is to, after you interview a real estate agent, what you're going to do is the next step is you and that real estate agent is going to sign a buyer representation agreement or a seller representation agreement. This is a contract between you and the real estate agent, and you're giving authorization for the real estate agents to represent you. Fiduciary relationship. Now, looking for and after that, after you sign up that agreement, the next step is look for properties at the public record, we call it MLS, and some agents have exclusive listing too. Exclusive means that they are not on the public record, but the real estate agent may be very connected, has a huge network, and he has a lot of hidden gems here and there. Number four is to book showing after you found a few property that you want to look at. You want to book showing and visit the property. Nowadays, during COVID-19, a lot of us we're doing an online tour. It's pretty cool. Online 3D tour. You have to experience it to see how cool that thing is. And number five, you like what you see, you're going to put down an offer. There's conditional and there's no condition. Let's talk about conditional. Conditional is normally inspection condition or a finance condition, meaning that, hey, I want to buy your house today. Here's $20,000 deposit to show a good, to show good faith that I'm interested in buying. However, though, I need 7 days. Give me 7 days. I want to. I'm going to write it down as a condition, called a financial condition. As in the next 7 days, I want to go to the bank and see and verify and validate exactly how much money exactly how much money the bank is going to loan me. If whatever the bank is going to loan me can cover the whole entire purchase, then boom, we have a deal. So that's what I mean by clear condition. You come back and you say to the seller, hey, the bank's clear. I have enough money to close this house in 30 days, 60 days, and we have a good firm deal to go. And that's what it's normally is within 1 week, within 7 days. So you have the offer. If you send in an offer today, the seller accepted your offer and say, hey, I'll sell you this property. Normally we have 1 more week as a cooling period for the buyers to arrange payment, arrange finances. And normally after 7 days, the property is so firm, and closing day will be anywhere between 30 days to 60 days, 90 days, whatever. Now, during this time, buyer can revisit the property 2 to 3 times before closing, and on the final closing day, uh, the seller give you the key, and boom, you can move in, and from then it's just happily ever after. Now, the next, I know what it is. This is money growth. Um, why real estate? This is the fourth topic of tonight. Why real estate is because real estate is a very stable growth of money invested versus. You heard about oil recently? The oil negative $37. You heard about stock market? You heard about their like maybe a popular thing recently is like cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. It was a roller coaster. Well, real estate has our roller coaster too, but when you look at it. Uh, in a decade's point of view, it's always going up, even though it's steady, slowly. But it's the safest option. A lot of people consider it as the safest option because you can see it, you can touch it, and it's real. Ownership, of course, depends on your culture. I'm Chinese, and it is absolutely the first step for a lot of Chinese male to purchase a house before you even think about marriage. So it's crazy. Well, in a lot of different culture, owning a home feels is very emotionally rewarding. And of course, the great thing about real estate is this asset you can pass down to your children and your next generation, and inheritance. Yeah, that's fun. Now, what cost? Because you want to know what caused the property value to increase. The obvious is supply and demand, right? The biggest thing that I remember from university studying economics is just supply and demand. Everything, everything is supply and demand, supply and demand, supply and demand. Why? Because in Toronto, I didn't know the exact figure, but Toronto as up today, plus the GTA, the surrounding area, has a total population of 6.2 million people almost. That's insane, 6.2. And every year, look at the population growth of this. As more and more people flooding into Toronto, we're gonna need to have new houses to house all these new people and new immigrant in. So what can we do? 8 minutes left. Okay, perfect. What can we do with the speed that we're building new homes are not fast enough to cope with all this demand, and that's why housing market in Toronto is so crazy because we're looking at Toronto. Toronto GTA has 6.2 million people. It's a huge city. Now, the not so obvious three thing: location, location, location. There is never a shortage. Here's the thing. This is my sounds crazy. There is never a shortage on houses in the real estate buy and sell market. Is never the house that's in a shortage. It's always the prime location, good location that is in a shortage. So location, location, location. Some property when you buy it, it will never go up in value in decades. Some property when you buy it, boom, next year it's going to be 5%, 3%, 6%, 7%, 10%. What's the difference? Location. So the shortages is where good location, good find, and a lot of I can expand this topic for and another seminar for, and I can talk about this for hours. But look, just long story short, remember location. Number two is policy. Policy in terms of the bank's policy. How linear is the bank? How easy is it to get money from a bank? Nowadays, in the fourth quarter of 2019 and the first quarter of 2020, before this whole COVID thing hit, it was very, very easy. Bank have very good policy. The government has very good policy. Um, the central bank has, Bank of Canada has loosened up its policy in a way where anyone that go in there, chances are 95% you're gonna get a loan. Very, very linear. And how linear was leverage? Leverage. Remember what I said earlier? The three times your income, your annual income, and seven times your annual income. The higher the number, the more money that you can borrow. Number two is how easy is it? How linear is the lender, is the bank to lend you money? Number three is how much can you leverage? Can you borrow? So those are so if all those three, if number two and number three is going good, boom, more people can borrow a lot of money, and more people are participating in the market, and because if there are more people coming into the real estate market wanting to buy a home, it drag the price up, and that's what caused property value to increase. Well, most importantly still is the location. If you if you got a that's the thing that you need a real estate agent to really analyze it for you, and a good real estate agent to guide you into the right places. Anyways, Toronto's market. What's your oh no, guys, it's 3 minutes away. I'm 3 minutes away to get to 3:55. Let me share with you real quick. My put on Toronto's market today, condos has slowed down a little bit, and detached home, the $1.4 million price point and lower, they are growing steadily. So if you're looking into selling your current home and buying a new home, buying a detached home, yeah, it's still a relatively healthy market that you can participate in. Townhouses, this is so hot right now. Um, I'll give you I'll give you an insider formula. The formula is simple. You can remember this. Take this home tonight. Okay, when the condo market is going good, the detached and the townhouse is going down. Condo good, detached and single homes down. When the condo is going down, the market is not very healthy. The other two market is going up. And when the other two market is going up, detached home is a little bit more pricier. Townhouse is a little bit more cheaper. So because it's cheaper, it's more affordable. Because it's more affordable, boom, more people are coming into the market and trying to take a piece of that deal. The word is cheap deal. So that's what happened. That's what Toronto is today. I've tried to. I have two clients that want on the townhomes. Oh my gosh, man, it's such a fight. I'm not gonna get into detail. It's heated. You need if you want a townhome, you are actually putting your real estate agent to work, man. They are trying very hard to fight for you, and if they don't have anything, they couldn't find anything. Forgive them. It's very hard, very competitive market right now because everybody want a cheap deal. Townhome, $800,000 a piece, $900,000 a piece. Detached home, $1 to $1.2 million a piece. Price difference there. So cut some slack when you're a real estate agent. COVID-19 has cooled down the heat a little. 2020 is supposed to be a very good year for real estate. Prices may but this is my opinion, okay? Just purely my opinion. I think the price might decline slightly, but eventually it will bounce back. Um, my opinion, not my brokerage opinion. This is my independent opinion, okay? But still, now is a great time to buy because you can buy everything at a discount, and a lot of people are having trouble closing their deal. Time's up, Frank. Gotta cut the chase. Okay, cool. Time's up. Okay, I'm gonna 30 seconds. Oh, give me 1 minute. Anyways, easier to borrow money now. Easier to borrow money now. It's a good time to buy, and eventually, if you buy this year, in about 2 to 3 years, you're going to see some good return of investment. Now, other topics that I couldn't cover is if you have less than 20% down payment, what do you do? Then less than 20% down payment strategies, the rental income, investment properties, real estate, rent versus own. Should I rent or should I own? All these topics, we can do it in the future podcast or a future section. But today we won't be able to do all of that. So in summary, I want to tell you guys to number one, be aggressive and proactive on increasing your credit score. Number two is get a mortgage pre-approval. If you're really interested in buying a house, maybe it's not even now. Maybe it's not now. Maybe you just want to test the water and see how much money do you actually qualify as your profile today. Know where you are at. If the bank is willing to loan you $300,000, then you need another $200,000. Then you know the room to get there. You can either increase your credit score and increase your income, and maybe other strategy I can teach you in the future too. But anyways, so get a mortgage pre-approval to see where you are at and how much money that you can borrow, so you can determine what price point can you afford a home at? And down payment, save up your down payment, increase your income. Do a side gig, and get some additional income. And the type of property, figure out what's the type of property that you want to own. You want to own a condo, townhouse, detached, pre-construction, land, even whatever the case may be. The key is to make educated decision. Now, time is up. There's something that is really dear to me. I really want to share with you guys. Gabe, can I have 1 more minute? Just 1 more minute, real quick. It's 8:57. I know it's time. We promised that cut it off at 55, but can I have like 1 minute? This is very dear to my heart. Whatever I just told you is, there's many speculation of the markets or whatever. Nothing is guaranteed, but what I have here is something that is a little bit guaranteed. It's a program that I come across called, it's a financial GPS basically. So what it is, it's a computer software that you can own for a lifetime. It's a lifetime personal financial advisor. Imagine having an Albert Einstein right next to you, a financial Albert Einstein next to you, but it's not a really a person, but it's a software. And the reason why I want to share this with you guys, because this software helps people to pay off their debts and become truly debt free fastest way possible. How? Because it use pure math algorithm. It use pure math algorithm that all major banks can use and keep away from the public eyes. That their secret, not story short. And what it is a computer software that calculates the shortest way, mathematically possible, to pay down and pay off a combination of debts in any given profile. It's really cool. It's a financial software, and you can think of it as an AI software that can help you. I'll give you some example. Would you think that is a good investment? This investment is a good plan. Invest one time $5,000 today, and this software can make you $50,000 in 10 years, and that you can have an annualized return of investment of 29.89% a year. Does that sound like a good plan? That's the most conservative option. That's the most conservative plan. That is how this software can do. What about this one? Invest $5,000 today, and this program can make you same $5,000, but it can make you in 10 years $100,000. 34.93% ROI. And what about this one? Invest one time $5,000 today, and you can make $150,000 in 10 years. This happens, and the number is even more. Matter of fact, for some of our clients, it's crazy. ROI 40%. And it sounds too good to be true, but it's just math and something that the bank has kept from us. And that's how they make all the big money. But this software help us to turn table around. And how do I get this number? Well, the source is calculator.net, ROI calculator, return of investment calculator. And that's how I get all those numbers. It's not math. I didn't use my brain to do that. Now, I want to say this is the end of our presentation. I want to say thank you once again for all the audience that participated into this webinar. I want to thank Gabe for organizing, and also Nadia and Cassandra for promoting the event. You can find me, any question that you ask me, anything, any question that you have, you can send me, take a screenshot of this. You can find me at frankzenhome@gmail.com, or you can add me on Instagram. I have an Instagram account. I'm on social media. I don't have a lot of time for social media, but that's the place that I am. It's called 3 Cent Stories. You can find me there. And you know what, guys? There's so much I want to talk to you guys about, but time's up. Hopefully we can do like a 5 minutes Q&A. If not, I'll toss the ball to Gabe and let Gabe decide then. Gabe, it's all yours. Thank you very much once again.
Awesome. Thank you, Frank. That was a ton of information. I know you guys have a lot more questions. If you feel free, if you guys want to stay for another 5 minutes, we will go over a couple questions because there is a lot and there is some good ones. I'm gonna have to cut you to a couple seconds to each answer though, as much as possible, like 30 seconds the most for each question. So we'll go over it a little bit very quickly. Feel free to go if you guys need to leave. But first question, Frank, it's right here. What's the difference between current balance and statement balance? If I pay off my statement balance before the end of the month, but not current balance, will I get interest? And if so, will it affect my credit score?
The key is if you bottom line is pay the minimum, right? If you can't make the minimum, then call them. For say your minimum is $250 and COVID-19 hits, your income stops, call them and talk to the bank and say, hey, I'm sorry, oh, the SERP, there's this SERP money coming in, right? If your due date is tomorrow call the bank and say, hey, sorry, I can't, I'm waiting on this SERP money coming in. Can I pay you in about a week? The bank most of the time will allow you to do that. And that not only goes for the bank to um, any company that where your credit is at. And I hope that answer your question um, about the current balance and the remaining balance. Um, what you want to do is you want to put your best effort to pay off as much as you can on top of the minimum payment. If you can't make the minimum payment, you can, once again, still doesn't hurt to call them and negotiate. And when you're on the phone, just be nice.
Yeah, awesome. So next question is, I have 15,000 saved in my bank. What should I do first? Pay off my school debt, invest it, or if you invest, where should I put it? Keep in mind that I have no credit card debt to pay off.
First step is to, here's the thing, guys, whatever you do, all right, I'm glad that you guys brought up this question. Excellent question. It applies to everybody. Whatever money that you have right now, if you want to make more money, you need help. You need leverage. You need to borrow other people's money, borrow banks' money. You need a bank to fund majority of that project. The first thing you want to do, even before thinking about what to do with that, try to get your credit score assessed, see where you are, and if you have a 760 and above score, then we need to sit down together and look at it and stretch it. $15,000. How fast? How much money can I save? You know, how fast can I save up money? If every month I can save up $1,000, $15,000 today, plus a few months later, 3 months later, 6 months later. What I showed you earlier is a pre-construction deal, right? A pre-construction structure is 5% of that. 5%, 5%, 5%, 5%. Can I catch up to that 5%? If not, maybe housing is not your um, that's not an option for you right now. Maybe look at other investment options. I hope that answered your question. But the first step, guys, before even thinking about a house, think about your credit score first. No credit, no money, and it's not even your money. It's other people's money. Your credit is your trust. That's your trustworthiness of someone else, some stranger or lender lending you the money. So
Awesome.
don't fund everything yourself.
In
Yeah.
regards to the credit score, now we have a question where it says, can I try negotiating my credit score even though my late payments were a year to 3 years ago?
Those are the things that's haunting you. Okay. And I tell you a story about collection. Okay. This is how collection works. Collection, sometimes a debt. Okay. 3 years ago, 4 years ago, a debt has been 6 months past due, and this debt got sent to a collection. This collection company is going to hustle you down and be like, hey, okay, bro, we got to, if you don't, I know where you live. I'm going to come down here and, talk bad about you in front of your labor and do all this crazy crap, right? And when that happened, right? If they if they didn't succeed in getting you, what happened is that collection company is gonna resell that debt to another company. And that another the new company is gonna do that round thing. And then so your debt, your original debt could have been sold multiple times, right? To a point where like they only all they have is just a number, the name, and a number to call you, and the debt amount own. Now you go to a credit bureau and say, hey, yo, I see this that here that appeared on my credit report 4 years ago. I don't recall that. I don't recall that. Can you verify and validate to me? And sometimes when the credit bureau send in a requirement, an inquiry to get that that debt validate and verify, the collection company doesn't make money answering to the credit bureau. And most of the time, the collection company will just ignore that inquiry completely. And because that inquiry is being ignored, now the credit bureau is like, oh, Frank, seems like that I can't validate that that's you, that's your dad. They didn't get back to us in like a month or two. I didn't hear an answer from them. Guess I can take that. Probably a mistake. Guess we can take that out of the picture. And what I'm telling you now, oh my gosh, man, it's bad, but that's kind of what's happening in a real life now, in a real world. But be responsible, be a responsible spender, and discipline your spending habits. Please don't don't gamble. Don't It's like a
Yeah,
gambling. You might take a shot like that. Yeah.
perfect. This next question is the yes or no question. When you ask for a credit increase and get declined, does it affect your credit score?
If you are applying in a bank, uh, I think it does. It's a hard inquiry for your current bank, whatever bank that you bank with. For say like TD Bank, they they peek into your credit score, credit account. The moment that they peek, it's considered a hard inquiry. Soft inquiry doesn't hurt you. Hard inquiry, it would take credit score uh, out of your total profile. As to how much, I believe is anywhere between 2 points to 3 points per inquiry from the bank. And remember, that's only 15% weight on the total weight of your credit score, right? Inquiry and other stuff, only like 10% or 15%, very little. 3 points, 2 points here and there, doesn't matter. You can afford to do that. Yeah, yeah, you can. It doesn't hurt you that much. It's not one late payment though. One late payment can deduct as much as 90 points. So if you are 750 right now, you're in great standing, and boom, 90 points later, boom, you're in 680. You're at the Toronto average. You go from excellent to average. One late payment. Don't ever miss a late payment. If it really happens, call up the bank or call up whatever that utility company, whatever company, Fido or Rogers, and talk to them. Hey, can you take that away? Can you take that away, please? I made a mistake. It's a genuine mistake. Remember what I said earlier in the first segment? Be nice, be polite. Be polite, be nice, and because they actually record your tonality in the back, they'll write you a side notes saying that, oh, this guy is rude, and be nice, negotiable. Okay, negotiable.
And due to time, this will be the final question. I do apologize for everybody else that asked a question, but it was asked here. So, do you suggest not using the first homeowner's 5%?
It's a very, very uh, here's the thing, if you pay less than 20%, you're gonna have to buy an insurance, a default insurance, and that insurance can eat up your profit, especially if you're looking to uh, an investment property. That insurance is not very. I'm not a big fan of it. Um, is there once again real estate? Real estate is all about terms and negotiation as a condition. If you work with a very long story short, there are ways and strategy out there that you can pay less than 20% and uh, and you can fund the deal legitimately without going through that first time home buyer 5% thing. Because even though, yeah, they can do 5%, but as the default insurance, very expensive. It's quite expensive. So I don't always recommend that as the first solution. I'll try them with different strategy, but I'm not a big fan of it. And each person's profile is different, and each person's circumstances is different. And really, 100 people has 100 totally different scenarios. So, and that's what I love about real estate. Every day is a challenge because every case is different, every person is different. So, but long story short, not a big fan. There are other terms and conditions that we can negotiate with the lender that we can implement a different strategy.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you, Frank. I want to thank everybody who stayed still. We will be hosting more events similar to this, so keep an eye out for those. Message whoever gave you guys the link today. Thank you guys so much for staying the extra time. Take care.
Thank you. Take care, everybody.